Good to see you all again. It is I, the Bearded Beerman, for part 2 of the distillery visit. So, if you didn't catch the first half, I recommend you go watch it first. See the tour of the facility. But now, it is time to sit back, relax, have a drinky poo, and enjoy watching me get to try some incredible spirits. And one of them is going to be this vodka right here. Ooh. Want a little bit closer look at that bottle. Get those taste buds watering. That rich flavor. Great glass work. Sorry, I'm not a professional with the alcohol, with the spirits, but I do enjoy and want to learn as much as I can. So stay with us as we watch Greg pour some spirits and go through the list. Cheers to y'all. Oh, a good time is ready to be had. To go into doing the distilling.
It's a good question. I wanted to own my own business and do something fun. At the time, I was really good at brewing beer. At least I thought so. And but I didn't want to open up a brewery because there's a lot of breweries in Sacramento, and that doesn't take away from what breweries have to offer here. I just didn't want to do something that a lot of other people were already doing. So I decided to do something that no one had done since Prohibition. And in this case, it was a distillery. So I started kind of learning that trade and getting more involved with how spirits are made, the process, the laws, everything that you would need to know to make a distillery. And also, I found it slightly amusing that it's in my family's blood a little bit as far as distilling goes. My great-grandfather, Karsten, used to make stills. Well, he went to jail for bootlegging, for one, during Prohibition. And when he got out of jail, he went back to building stills for a lot of the wineries and brandy manufacturers in California and out of state. And his stills were highly sought after, according to my family. And so he would go around with my grandfather, Kevin, both of them passed. But I've heard all the stories. They'd go around and they would build these giant stills in California and out of state because something about his stills, they were able to produce more alcohol faster than any other stills on the market. Now, my great-grandmother didn't like that. Because she had already lived through Prohibition, watched her husband get jailed for 4 years, and then he got out and got right back into the business, and she always hated it, but that's how he supported the family. So when he passed, she took all of his drawings and math and plans and she burned them.
Oh.
So all that knowledge is gone forever, right? Like literally the day they buried him, she came home and took all this stuff and put it in the fire and just burned it all, which was a tragedy for most. But from what I've been told, some of his stills are out there still in operation today.
Oh, wow.
After, 60 years, I think.
What a legacy.
Yeah, right?
Oh, wow.
So some of that, I'm not saying I'm pulling from that legacy. I just found it interesting that my grandfather went to jail for bootlegging, which a lot of that I didn't find out because my family likes to keep secrets. A lot of that I didn't find out until I told everyone, hey, I'm opening a distillery, you know,
Yeah.
and they're like, did you know? And so that's how all of that kind of went down, and I started finding out the family history. All the Carstentinos actually were in California, and they were bootlegging, and then when my grandfather went to jail, they they said they would take care of my grandmother. So he went to jail for 3 or 4 years. But then got out, started making stills again, and supported the family doing that ever since.
There you go.
So wish I had that. Wish I had those drawings and stuff. It would have made things a lot easier. But,
of course.
Yeah, but yeah. So there's a little bit of family history there. And so here we are today, 4 years after launch, almost 4 years to the month after launch to market. We launched to market in July of 2014. So we're very close to the 4-year mark, and the next year we'll be celebrating 5 years.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, and right now we've got, soon to be missed, I feel like I'm missing a bottle. Oh, corn whiskey. So right now we have 7 products on the docket right now. These 3 can be found in stores. The whiskeys, the brown spirits are only here. We don't produce them in large enough quantities to actually support stores. Vodka, gin, and absinthe we can do all day long.
What's your radius for distribution?
We are in stores statewide with vodka and gin, locally with absinthe, and then all the brown spirits just here.
Okay.
So you can go online to goldriverdistillery.com, and there is a list of stores that we're actually in.
Excellent.
And we're in some big box stores, so you can find us locally and then statewide.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, I am excited to go through the list.
Sure. Let's start with the vodka. So the vodka is 70% wheat that we brew and ferment here on site.
Right, and go.
So the vodka is 70% wheat beer that we brew and ferment on site using wheat malt, and then we'll distill the wheat malt and put that back into the still, and we'll add a little bit of corn neutral spirit to the wheat malt strip, and then distill them both together into a vodka. And like I was saying before, in order to be called vodka, it's got to come out of the still at 190 proof or better. So it comes out very slowly. Vodka run days are usually 15-hour days.
Holy cow.
It takes a long time to make a good vodka. Very slow. Plus, that's because it's an 8-inch pipe. But the wheat imparts quite a bit of like hints of caramel and vanilla across the palate, which makes it nice and smooth. And then the corn gives you a nice sweet finish with almost zero burn, which makes our vodka extremely unique in that regard.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, that is fantastic. Oh, you were not lying.
No, I try not to lie. I do my best not to lie or
oh, wow.
or stray from the truth.
No, yeah.
Right? So that's our vodka. It is probably one of our #1 sellers. But all of our stuff sells very well, especially the brown spirits. But we have a lot of people come in here on a regular basis just to get the vodka, or seek us out at stores because we're only open 2 days a week, but the stores are open all the time. Mm-hmm. So our vodka is throughout the state of California as is now. Again, you can go to goldriverdistillery.com and find those locations.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably one of the multiple people who had the bad experience with vodka
right
out of 21 and just stayed away from it. And this is definitely bringing me back to enjoying a very good spirit.
Right.
Wow.
Always trying to make a spirit we can enjoy.
Oh, so good.
So gin. So the gin. The gin is made with 8 botanicals. We do have them up there. I can't share with you the actual measurements, but the majority of our gin, of course, is going to be juniper, coriander, angelica, lime peel, lemon peel, grains of paradise, anise, of course, and a couple other ones. But it's vapor infused, like I was describing earlier, so it's quite a bit more floral and a little bit more heavy on the oils, which gives it a more robust flavor. It fits into the family of gins that are not necessarily, it's not a London Dry, which is very juniper forward. It's more of a contemporary Western style gin, but there's still plenty of juniper in it.
I'll be right there, Mom.
so good.
Hopefully it's not smoky.
It doesn't have that turpentine taste that you get with the
actually
other
went up
gins.
to
No.
Distillation, did some
Very smooth, very
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
very
And
very
it was
not mild, but very
Frozen
robust,
too.
but in a good way.
Really nice.
I want to.
Yeah.
Wow, that is.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Good gin.
A bunch of things. I gotta go get.
So the corn whiskey, you buy it here clear. So it comes as a corn spirit, a corn whiskey, which is clear. It's moonshine, but it comes with these little oak spirals. And what you do is you take it home and you drop those little oak spirals in it, or drowning oak. You know, hence the name drowning oak whiskey. And then you let the oak spirals sit in there for around 2 months, and then it turns brown like this. So it's kind of got a deconstructed whiskey. It's kind of fun to do. It has its own flavor. It is the same grain bill that we use for our bourbon, although our bourbon tastes slightly different because it ages for longer than 2 months, obviously, and it's in the barrel, whereas these are just charred oak spirals, but still fun to do. And you can drink it straight if you want. You can do whatever you want with it, actually, but ultimately what you get is this spirit right here.
Wow.
So yeah, very unique, very different. It's its own thing, you know, and we're happy with it. We think it's fun. A lot of people think it's fun. We have a couple of bottles left, that's it, and then we've got to make some more. I mean, we go through it pretty fast.
Excellent.
Because people like to take it home and then just kind of watch it age on their shelf, and even like take little sips. They can, because it changes week to week. You know, the flavors that come out, what you're getting out of the yolk, everything is kind of different.
Oh, that is. I love that spice, but it's been mellowed out
Right,
so
it's
much.
been mellowed out a little bit, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just a little bit of something in there.
Get a little bit of a ring. Nice.
Sure.
Oh, I love how it leaves my tongue salivating, wanting more.
Right.
That is just incredible. Oh, wow. So you really have made your spirits to be drunk.
Yeah, I think it works.
By themselves.
Right.
And if you want to add something to attempt to enhance it, you can.
Sure.
But it's already perfect as is.
It's my opinion. Right.
It's a good opinion.
Yeah, I think that the spirits by themselves, you know, at most over the rocks or on whiskey rocks, if you like, you know, the non-porous stuff you put in the freezer.
Right.
I think all of our spirits are just right as is.
You get a little bit of a difference by doing the tablespoon of water and all the little fun tricks.
You can. I mean, if you put ice in there, you already got a tablespoon of water in there anyway,
Okay.
right? So if you want to just drink it neat and put some water in there, you can do that. For me, I'm a fan of either neat or on the rocks. You know, if you chill it down, you still get a lot of flavor, and it takes away some of the burn. If you like it neat, then you like a little bit of the burn. But that's really all it does. It doesn't necessarily change the flavor of any of them. But
the lingering flavor is just so fantastic.
it's good, right?
Oh, I like that smoky, light woodiness to it.
This is just water, so you can rinse it out. There you go. Put it in this little bucket right there. All right, now we'll get to the rice whiskey. The malted rice whiskey. So we came up with this, I think about 2 years ago, and we just released it for the first time last December. So hasn't even been out for a year, and we're just about out of barrels. So we've got a couple of barrels left that we'll release through the end of this year, and then everything will have to wait until next year. So it is 100% malted rice, and the rice comes from the Sacramento region, and it's malted by a gentleman up in Chico, who is essentially, to our knowledge and to his, the only person malting rice on this side of the planet.
Wow.
So, and then to take that malted grain and turn it into a whiskey with 100% of that grain, as far as we know, no one else is really doing that. There's rice whiskeys out there, and there is some rice whiskeys out there that uses a particular amount of malted rice, but we are 100% malted rice. And we age it only in new barrels or used malted rice barrels. So no wheat or gluten products touches it. And so it is 100% its own thing.
Wow.
And we did the grain bill in a way where it kind of has some essences of like a bourbon whiskey up front, but then there's some smokiness that you finish with. So you kind of get bourbon on the front and scotch in the back, and then it has like a very light, fluffy mouthfeel that you get from the rice that just makes it across the board incredibly unique. And again, we produce such small quantities of it, you can only get it here. For now. Someday, maybe we'll be enormous and we'll be making lots of it. But right now, this is where it's at.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that mouth feels amazing.
Just very light, just kind of goes right through. And you get like a nice caramely flavor up front, and then, boom, a little bit of smokiness on the back. Very unique. We're super proud of that. Anything. So once it comes out of the barrel, you water it back, filter it, just to polish it up. You got to get all the bits out of it. And then once it goes into the barrel or bottle, it's done. So it won't change as long as it's in the bottle. So, and that doesn't account for poor corks, oxidation, anything like that that happens. But all of your spirits are light sensitive, so the best thing to do with all of your spirits, if you want them to last the ages, is keep them in a cupboard, keep them out of the sunlight, or just light in general, because sunlight destroys the alcohol molecule.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you want to keep them somewhere where they're protected from sunlight. That's why beer bottles are all brown.
Right.
You know, wine bottles are green. Or different colors. That's to protect from the sunlight. So same thing you want to do with your spirits. Keep them in a cupboard or somewhere where light it protects it from light. But once it's in the bottle, aging's done. Nothing will affect that other than oxidation.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
How about the bourbon?
Please.
Here we go.
I think that was my favorite last time I was here.
We have to open a bottle. A fresh bottle. All right. So the bourbon. So the bourbon is right around 65% corn, 10% wheat, and then the rest is distiller's malt. We do brew and ferment all of our grains here because we're a Type 74 distillery. So in California, as a craft distillery, anything we sell to you or to the public or to our distributors has to be distilled and manufactured here. So we can't buy barrels of pre-made bourbon and then mix them however we want and then put it in a bottle and call it our own. As a Type 74 craft distillery, we have to actually make everything here. So we buy all of our grains come from local suppliers, but we do all of that here, and then we put it in 13-gallon barrels, which is about 160-gallon batch gets us about one 13-gallon barrel-ish. And then we let that age for a year or more, depending on how it tastes. We start checking it after about a year just to make sure that it's ready or if it needs to stay in a little bit longer. But in the smaller barrels, you need to check it a little bit more often just to make sure once you hit that year mark, things start getting a little finicky, so you got to check it fairly often. But what you get is that right there.
A lot more nose on this.
Right, a lot more nose, a lot more caramel. You get a lot more caramel, a lot more syrup, a little bit of spice from the barrel, but for the most part, it's about as smooth as you can get when it comes to a bourbon.
Oh, wow, that is so smooth.
We're really happy with that. But yeah, the color's great, the flavor's great. Not a single barrel since we started opening them in, I want to say, gosh, maybe February, March of this year. Not a single barrel has failed us.
Wonderful.
Just been good across the board. So super happy with the bourbon, and we're looking forward to laying down some more bottles through the rest of this year, so we've got more barrels ready to go for next year.
Well, wonderful.
Yep.
That is incredible.
And we'll be doing. We're gonna go ahead and pop the last 2 or 3 barrels that we've got in stock, and then we'll release those right around October. And when it's gone by the end of the year, it's gone by the end of the year. But this is it. This is the only place you can get it.
Nice. Oh, that's fantastic. Mm.
How about the absinthe?
Yes, please.
Let's rinse this out. How you go. So, sure, yeah. You try the little, just a tiny little sip.
Holy cow, that little, the licorice is so strong.
It's a black licorice spirit,
Mm.
and it was just reintroduced into the United States market in 2007, thanks to it. Now, absinthe doesn't have its own designation, so whereas vodka does. So when you look at the laws that are what is in the United States, gin is its own designation, which means if I put gin on the bottle here, that means it has to be made a particular kind of way, and it has to have certain attributes in order for me to put gin on the bottle.
Mm.
Here's the difference with absinthe, and you'll find this with all absinthe. Absinthe is actually what's called the fanciful name, so it doesn't have a designation. It's just kind of like absinthe. It's out there. But right here, what absinthe actually is by designation is grain neutral spirits with natural flavors added.
Mm.
So that has to show up here on the front because that's the actual name of the spirit.
Oh,
Whereas,
interesting.
but everyone sees absinthe because that's the fanciful name. But it also has to appear back here, distilled from grain, distilled from neutral grain spirits with natural flavors added, because I still have to have a statement of commodity on the back. So it appears in both the front and the back label. Whereas absinthe is not its own designation, it's the fanciful name. So most people see that as absinthe, which is exactly what it is. But at the same time, that's why you see those 2 designations on the front and back label, whereas most spirits, you won't see it on the front, you'll only see it on the back under the designation.
Okay.
So the other thing with absinthe is a lot of absinthes are dyed green. And that color dye has to appear on the front of the label as well. Whereas our absinthe is dyed green with all natural botanicals. We use spearmint and Roman wormwood to turn our absinthe green, and then over time it will turn brown, kind of like the leaves of fall. That doesn't affect the flavor, it doesn't do anything except indicate that we've actually used all natural flavorings in our absinthe. So,
very nice.
So absinthe is drank, like I said, 1 part absinthe, 2 to 3 parts ice water. Now,
I could see just drinking a sip at a time if you were going to drink straight.
right, if you want to drink it straight, it's just a sip at a time. Once you put the ice water in there, depending on how cold the ice water actually is, but it will eventually kind of go opaque or cloudy, and that's called the louche. There are different, variations of the louche. Sometimes when you add water, it'll go like pearl white. Sometimes with ours, it'll kind of just go opaque. It just depends on how much absinthe or how much anise oil is actually in it that changes that. But have at it.
It neutralizes the smell a little bit.
A little
not
bit.
much.
Kind of opens up the bouquet quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
Good. Come to do some tasting?
and it just allows some of the absinthe
Are you here to see Greg?
to kind
Are
of
you
pull
here to
through.
do some tasting or both?
Yeah, I'm from
Oh, wow.
Submerge Magazine. I'm here to just taste some
Very
things,
nice.
just chat.
Oh,
Yes.
Submerge Magazine wants to see you, Greg.
Yeah, take your time, I'm good.
If you could show on the back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, come on back here.
Oh, yeah, it's
I'm
such a
all
great mouthfeel.
Right? It's kind of it's nice. It's well rounded. It doesn't have so much absinthe that it just kind of punches you in the face with black licorice. Right? It's just it's just the right amount of absintheness, if you will, where you can enjoy it but not be offended by the amount of anise that's in it. When you when you pour it over ice and add a little bit of water, it goes real nice and cloudy, and it just kind of brings down the burn, but really opens up that bouquet and that floral aspects of what it actually is. And there are 10 botanicals in our absinthe.
Wow.
Including the Holy Trinity. So when you talk about absinthe, there's the Holy Trinity, which is anise, fennel, and then Grande wormwood. So, which is the Grande wormwood is what has the drug thijone in it, which is what that particular drug is actually what they outlawed it based on. But thijone doesn't do anything to you.
Interesting. Well, that's fascinating. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And then eventually, maybe what are you talking about? I don't know where the bottle went. There it is. In another month, we'll have our Steam Power Applejack out.
Will you be doing tastings on that, or is that just going to be for sale?
We'll probably do some tastings. We'll very
Very
little tastings. It does taste great. It has like a kind of a whiskey bourbony kind of flavor, but then it finishes with kind of like a green apple.
Excellent. I can't wait when that's released to come back and get it.
Yeah, I'll make sure you're aware.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you so
Yeah,
much.
I'll let you know as soon as we got it out and ready to go.
Excellent.
Come over and do a thing.
Well, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to come in
No, absolutely.
and take
Thank
up
you
your
so much.
time and try your fantastic stuff. And I can't wait to bring more people in to experience
I appreciate it.
this fantastic stuff that has come out of your head.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming down and yeah, bring all the people in you want and let me know when you're going to be here and I'll make sure that we make time for it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You got it. Have a great day.
Ah, cool.
Good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, going out and seeing a distillery on site. I really hope I get the opportunity to go out to more local places and share these places that I'm falling in love with you. And I encourage you to go out to whatever area you are in. Find those local places. Support them. Raise a drink to the men and women who have made it their life's goal to give us something amazing that makes fellowship with friends even more entertaining and better. Well, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Tell your friends. Share the video. And of course, go out and have some drinks. And remember, every beer, or in this case, spirit, is like a good book. You just gotta crack it open to see what is inside. Cheers to y'all. Oh, too good.